I kind of expected to find another woman in that house. I wasn't sure if it would be the Italian wife or somebody else. I was prepared for that. And my girlfriends and we had been through several different scenarios. What if he's there? What if someone else is there? Blah, blah. And the reason I sent them to the door without me was I wanted them to sort of do the initial reconnaissance and see what was going on before I came down. And if he was there, I fully intended to confront him. But what happens is he comes to the door. So first of all, he's there. And then I see, I'm sitting in the car at the top of the hill. He can't see me. And I see a woman and two young children come out on the veranda of the house. And even from where I am, I can hear them calling him dad. And this is a young woman. This is not his Italian wife. I know exactly what his Italian wife looks like. So this is when I completely lose it and fall apart, because this is another family. This is a third family. It's the Italian wife he never divorced. It's me and my daughter in New York. And now here in Barcelona, the real reason he never let us come to Barcelona is because he's hiding another family here. And it was the children that sent me over the edge. I mean, another woman, okay, at that point I was prepared for that, but the kids and little kids, they were about 5 and 7 years old. I was wholly unprepared for that. And that's when I lost it. I mean, you see in the video, I think I had been investigating for a couple of months at that point, and I had not dealt with any of the heartache, the devastation, and I just fall apart. I'm screaming, I'm kicking, I'm wailing, I'm calling him every name under the sun. It was just devastating. It was just, he just took it so far. It just was sort of incomprehensible to me that you had been sitting here, that you let me think I'm moving here with my daughter, and you planned this whole fake wedding. You let me quit my job. So much was at stake. You let me pull my daughter out of her school. You let me give up my entire life. And the whole time you're hiding another family here. And the whole time, none of this is ever going to happen.
Oh my gosh, it's just so devastating.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I spoke with a friend once whose husband had betrayed her, and she did what almost every woman does, which is start to obsess over his phone records and anything she could get her hands on, right? Just to know. She knew. It was, she knew, but she needed the details. She needed the specifics, and she needed to know, when and how long and how many times. And I said to her, it's almost like in the Catholic faith, when somebody dies, they have the wake, and you go to the wake. And even though many Catholics and non-Catholics especially find it kind of very jarring, what a jarring tradition to go and see the dead body if it's an open casket. What kind of a tradition is this? Why would you do this to yourself? And I get that reaction very much, but there is something, I don't know if the word's cathartic, if there's something necessary for many people in seeing the dead body. It's like the beginning of coming to terms with what's really happened and how your life has changed from what you thought it was a day earlier or a couple days earlier. And I almost see the behavior you're describing on your part as part of that process for you. Like you've got to make it real for yourself so acceptance can come.
100%. And I think that's why the house in Barcelona was the last piece of the puzzle for me. I mean, at that point, I already knew that he wasn't divorced. I already knew that, he had created this whole fake fantasy wedding. I mean, everything about it, every place he said was booked, the caterer, the this, the that, none of them had ever heard of us. I knew that he didn't know a damn one of these dignitaries or celebrities he claimed was coming to the wedding, or he claimed he was, the personal doctor to. He sure as hell was not the Pope's personal private doctor. I mean, the Vatican practically laughed at me. But for me, the last piece of the puzzle was Barcelona. And that was the thing that just and that's when I finally confronted him.
Wait, before we get to conversation, who is the fourth family?
You see her actually in the Netflix special. So after
the older woman,
she's younger. Anna Paula. She comes in the third episode. So after I went public, which I do shortly after this, she contacted me, and it turns out that and her story is just horrific because her son died. He was a patient of Paulo's. He did not have a plastic trachea, but he did operate on him. Her son dies in Italy. There's an investigation into manslaughter. So Paolo's facing manslaughter charges in Italy. So what does he do? He seduces her, and basically so that she will drop the charges, which she does. And then he gets her pregnant, and she has a child that's born with him basically right around the time that he's proposing to me. So that's
right.
4 families that I know about. It's the Italian wife he never divorced. It's me and my daughter in New York. It's the woman and the 2 kids in the house in Barcelona. And then this other poor woman in Italy that he has a child with.
Oh my God. It's like, in a way, you got away easy.
Oh, yeah. Which
in
is
a way you got off
interesting
easy.
because he really wanted to have a child. He was desperate to have a child. And that would be such a nightmare. I'm just so glad that never happened.
I know. So can we talk about the confrontation? Because I know that after, hold on, I pulled the email because I know that after you canceled the wedding, you emailed him and it reads as follows. I believed you were exactly who you presented yourself to be, to me, to my friends and family, to the world. Congratulations. You charmed me and all of us into La La Land. I will never, ever understand how you could have done this to me or to your daughter. Who the hell are you? And what the hell is wrong with you? But this is not the confrontation to which you refer.
No, it is. So that was the first part of the confrontation. This was by text, actually. When we left the house in Barcelona, we went to a place that had Wi-Fi. Keep in mind, he had no idea that I was there. He knew my friends were there. He couldn't get rid of them fast enough. And they told him, hey, look, the wedding got canceled so close to the wedding date. We, as a lot of people did, we decided to come to Italy anyway on vacation. And we just dropped by to bring you a wedding gift. That was their excuse for knocking at the doorbell, which the whole thing was so suspicious, right? Because ostensibly he and I are still getting married and we're still talking, and he didn't invite them in. He could not get rid of them fast enough. He just wanted them to leave. But anyway, we get to this restaurant and I write him a text that's literally about this long. I mean, what you read is just one part of it, and called him every name under the sun, named everything that I knew he was lying about, and, just called him a despicable, disgusting human being, told him I hated him, and et cetera, et cetera. And I think it took him about 10, 15 minutes to reply. And he wrote back one word: wow. That's all he said.
So
wow.
Unsatisfactory.
Well, I think he was caught, right? What was there to say? Game over. There's nothing to say.
I
He's
want
caught.
more. Didn't you want to
course.
See his face and see him, I don't know,
Yes.
beg for forgiveness, or I want to see him ashamed.
I know. The man has no shame or empathy or remorse or any of the other things, but yeah.
We're never going to see that.
Yeah.
Was there ever any more contact?
Yes. So what happens right after this is I'm devastated, of course. But almost immediately I had, whatever you want to call it, an epiphany or whatever you want to call it. But I thought, oh my God, if he's lying to me like this and creating fake relationships with the Pope and with, celebrities and dignitaries and presidents, and creating a whole fake fantasy wedding and allowing people to book tickets and spend money and allowing me to quit my job.
And quit their jobs and their schools.
Yeah, all of it. If he's doing all of that and will go that far, there's no way. There's no way in hell he's not also lying in his medical and professional life. It can't be. And that thought was so horrifying to me because he has people's lives in his hands. He's doing something revolutionary and groundbreaking, and people think the man walks on water. And I thought, shit, I have to tell my story. I have to go public. I have to expose him. I almost felt an obligation to do it. I thought, maybe this happened to me because I know how to do this. If I need to go public, if I need to tell my story, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be fun, but I know what to do. And I need to do this. The world needs to know who Dr. Paolo Macchiarini is. And it wasn't vindictive. It wasn't about revenge. It was simply about sounding the warning alarm that, this man is a fraud.
Credit card rewards like cash back can empower families with extra savings while they deal with the rising price of groceries and gas. But our sponsor, the Electronic Payments Coalition, says some DC politicians are partnering with corporate megastores to take the cash back rewards away from families during skyrocketing inflation. Specifically, they say the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill would take billions from American families, lining corporate pockets instead. Learn more at electronicpaymentscoalition.org and see for yourself if you want to protect credit card rewards and tell DC politicians to oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. That's electronicpaymentscoalition.org. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.